Hi, everybody. Welcome to Buddy's Writing Show, episode 49. I'm very happy to have suspense author Bianca Sloane on the show tonight. Welcome back to the show, Bianca.
Hi, buddy. How are you?
I am fantastic, thanks. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you. And thank you for having me. It's great to be back.
Well, we had so much fun talking the last time you were on the show, and there's so much more to talk about because you've got a book that has come out since then. It just came out in February, and
Yep,
that is Every Breath You Take.
that's right. Yes, very excited
Right.
about it.
I betcha. Could you tell our viewers a little bit about the story on that one?
Sure. So Every Breath You Take is about a woman who is being stalked, only she doesn't know that she's being stalked. And so she is kind of going on with her life, kind of her daily life. And then in one instant, one act of really brutal violence, I guess there isn't any other kind, but brutal,
Oh,
she finds out that she's being stalked. Everything changes, and she's actually abducted.
oh wow.
And, kind of whisked away, if you will, and wakes up and realizes that she's imprisoned. And so really, it's then how is she going to get out of this? And it really becomes it's kind of like she's doing kind of a psychological dance, really, with the person who has kidnapped her. And so it's, how's she going to get out of it? What's going to happen next? And so that's where a lot of the suspense comes in. And of course, there is a twist at the end because I do enjoy a nice twist at the end of my stories.
Yeah.
So,
How's it end? How's it end?
well, as a matter of fact,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
yeah.
Well, it sounds
So,
like. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, I was just going to say. So it's, I write about the dark side of love, and this definitely falls into that category. So, very excited. I've been working on this for a long time. So to see it finally be out and available has been fantastic.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations. Congratulations on this
Thank
release.
you.
And
Thank you.
you're very welcome. You're welcome. And you mentioned, and I love this. It even says on your website too that you write the suspense novels about the dark side of a love. That's
Yes. I'm
I
kind of
love that line.
anti-Valentine's Day. Yeah, no, thank you. And in fact, the book came out on Valentine's Day, so
That's
Valentine's Day is,
fantastic.
yeah.
I'm
I
not
thought
the
it was
biggest
kind of
fan of
funny.
Valentine's Day myself. My wife and I really don't celebrate
Oh,
it. Oh, I hit my
okay.
cat. Okay, welcome to the show,
Hi.
Nikita.
Hello. We have another guest tonight.
Another guest, her first time on the show. Okay, I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to
Oh,
rethink doing
funny.
this in my bedroom because. But one thing I love about your books too, and you know this about me, and I just certainly know it about you, is I'm a big music fan, and
Yes.
your books are named after like song titles of like
Yep.
classic songs, and of course, Every Breath You Take is one of my
Yeah.
favorites from The Police, a great song.
Yes. Yes. I did that because song titles, it's like Dick Clark said, music is the soundtrack of our lives. And song titles, they evoke a very specific, sensation, thought, memory, what have you. And the funny thing about Every Breath You Take is that, people think that it's this love song, right? People have it as like their first dance at their wedding, but it's really about a guy who's unhinged, you
Yeah,
know?
it's really
And so
he's pretty creepy.
yeah, and when you really listen to the lyrics, I mean, it's not, heart and flowers and puppies and ice cream. It's
It's
really
not.
pretty dark. And so when I knew that I was going to write this story, there was no question that this would be the title. This was the only contender for the crown. And so I have a lot of fun kind of playing with, coming up with, titles to fit the themes of the different books. So.
Yeah, and your other two books, I love these too. Now, I know you had changed one of the titles. You had Live and Let Die, right, which is
Yes.
now Killing Me
Killing
Softly.
Me Softly.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
both
Yeah.
great songs. Killing Me Softly,
Yes.
that's an awesome title.
Yeah. I I had chosen Live and Let Die because I felt like it really captured what the story was about. But being an indie author, you have the prerogative to change your mind, which I
Right.
did. So
Yeah.
I had decided to change the title. I was going to go with a different cover. I made a few tweaks to the book itself, nothing changing the editorial content, but just more, kind of some typos I'd missed, that kind of
Right,
thing.
right.
And so I said, if I'm going to do it, I'm just going to go, full on with it. And I will say, for anyone considering changing your title or your cover, be really, really sure that you want to do that, because it's kind of a pain to
Oh,
go
I
through
can
that process.
imagine. I can imagine it
Yeah,
is. But I'll
yeah.
tell you, your covers are fantastic. I wish I had the
Well,
power to like bring them up on my screen, but
well,
I
thank
know
you.
I love them.
All the credit goes to my partner in crime, Tori Cooney. She refers to herself as a ninja designer. I call her my partner in crime, and we just work so well together. We kind of get each other, and she's just fantastic. And I don't have anything to share yet, but I will say my fourth book, which will be coming out later this year, the cover that she designed for that is just incredible. So I'll be excited to share that when the time comes.
Okay, and what's her name again?
Her name is Tori
Mhm.
Cooney, and
Okay,
it's
Ninja Designer. Yeah.
yes, she is a designer, and she's phenomenal. So I can't say enough great things about her.
Yeah, and what I love about your books too is you definitely have, you definitely have branding. I can tell, from the way you
Mhm.
have, your name on there, the titles, the look of the books, which is great because a lot of authors don't have that. I mean, your books, I mean, they're top notch looking. They're
Well,
great.
thank you. And all of that was, no pun intended, very much by design.
Hmm.
I used to work for Barnes& and Noble as a bookseller for many years.
Hmm.
And, I when I knew that I was going to write my own books, I thought back to, my bookseller days. And, people like Danielle Steele and John Grisham, they didn't write series, but they branded all of their books.
Hmm.
And it's a really smart idea, because then you're automatically, kind of setting up in, the reader's mind, oh, this is that author. Oh, okay, that's her look, that's her feel. So I really kind of blatantly copied, what I had seen for all those years,
Hmm.
working in the trenches, so to speak.
Well,
So
it certainly works for you. It certainly works for you.
thank you. Thank
You're
you very
welcome.
much.
You're very welcome. And we had mentioned, of course, Every Breath You Take and Killing Me Softly. And I can't remember if I mentioned it or not, but your other novel is Sweet Little Lies.
Yes,
So,
yes. That is a Fleetwood Mac song. And
hmm.
that was, again, very similar to Every Breath You Take. That song was just playing in my head while I was writing the book. And it was another one where there were no other contenders. That was the title. And, it's one of those things. It's great when a plan comes together, because,
Yeah,
um,
that's for sure.
it's kind of, I mean, I don't have any kids, but I think it's kind of, from what I've heard, it's kind of like, your books, they kind of name themselves.
Right, right.
It's a lot of fun going through that process, though.
Yeah, it is. It's really a lot of fun coming up with titles, and I love yours. They're great. You were
Mhm.
just telling me that we were talking about some of your hobbies beforehand, and
Yeah.
you like to travel. I know.
Yes, I do.
And
I
and I
do.
don't know, yeah, and people, I don't know if people have seen it on your website, but you live in Chicago, which is not the
Uh-huh.
warmest place in the world, especially in
No,
this past winter. So you
no,
went
it is
somewhere
not.
quite different in February, didn't you?
I did. I went and took a little girls' weekend with some good girlfriends of mine, and went to Austin, Texas. And
Nice,
it
nice.
was about 75 degrees there compared to 20 degrees here. So I made the right decision to go there.
I would say
For sure.
so. Wow, that's great.
Yeah, yeah. And I actually used to live in Austin.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I had some friends there, and then I had some friends from Chicago come with me. So it was kind of like bringing, the two worlds together. And, the food in Austin, I mean, you can't beat it.
That's what
Um,
I've heard. That's what I've heard.
yeah. So we got to, go to some of my favorite old haunts. There's this great Mexican place called Guero's, which is right on South Congress, which is kind of the trendy
Mhm.
area. But when I lived there, South Congress wasn't that trendy, but now it's like everybody goes there. Yeah, it's crazy to see. Another place that's really great for people who might be, heading to Austin is called Shady Grove. The food is phenomenal. It's just this great kind of patio that you sit outside. They have
Oh, nice.
concerts. I actually, years and years ago, I got to see Sean Colvin perform there because I don't know if she still does, but at the time she lived in Austin and she'd go and
Oh,
do
okay. I remember
concerts.
Sean Hoven. Yeah.
Yeah, the Sonny Came Home,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Oh, yeah.
that's back. That's way back. Yeah.
That's way
So
back. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And then one of the other things that we got to do was travel to Fredericksburg, Texas, which is considered wine country, and I'd never been, and it was fantastic. We had just such a great time. Like I said, the weather was wonderful, and just spending time with friends, is always
Oh,
always a
yeah.
lot of fun. So
Yeah, it's fun to do vacations with friends. I mean, it's great to do it with families and, of course, your significant
right,
others. But yeah, I've done a couple trips with friends, and it can be a blast.
yeah,
And
you
I've
really
heard,
do make memories.
yeah, you do. And I've heard some wonderful things about Austin. One of my friends is writer Sean Platt. He's one of the co-hosts
Oh
of the
yeah,
Self-Publishing
yeah,
podcast, and he
right.
moved there a year or so ago. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he said, he loved that whole atmosphere there. Said it was very, very great, especially for, writers, musicians, very, artist
hmm
friendly, and yeah, he's trying to get like his writing partner to move there as well.
you
Sounds
know,
great.
it is a fantastic, and he's right. I mean, the way that they cultivate the arts and really kind of make it, you know, um, so opening and welcoming, inviting for that is fantastic. And right now, South by Southwest is going on, so you
That's right.
know,
Yeah.
yeah. So you see, all of you're on Facebook and people are posting their pictures, and in fact, one of my friends who lives there, they went to see Ali Sheedy and Molly Ringwald, who
Oh,
were
wow.
introducing the Breakfast Club, and so they were talking about making of the movie and John Hughes and that whole thing. And so they're she's posting all these pictures, and I'm like, I'm so jealous. I wish I was there for that. So
Oh,
those are
wow.
the kinds of things you get to experience in Austin
Oh,
sometimes.
that's great. That's great. And John Hughes, boy, his films were great. And I know he was
Well,
Chicago based, wasn't he? Weren't
he
most of his
was.
things done in
He
Chicago?
was,
Yeah.
yeah. And in fact, it's kind of funny that this is coming up because I just wrote a blog post which is going up tomorrow. But one of my top 10 favorite movies is Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, fantastic
And
movie.
yeah, I mean, and John Hughes, he always said that Ferris Bueller's Day Off was his love letter to Chicago. And truly, out of all of his films, that is the one that just puts the city on display. It captures
Yeah.
so many of the things that make Chicago wonderful. Not the least of which was that it was filmed in like the summer, so
Right.
everyone would live here in the summer. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
no,
think the winter
John
maybe
Hughes.
has have people have second thoughts about Chicago.
Yeah. Well, we have a saying: if the weather was nice, everyone would live here. So, but, in the meantime,
That should be
we
on the
love
license plates. That'd be great.
it.
If the
That's
weather
right.
was nice, everyone would live there.
That's the city slogan, the unofficial city slogan.
I like
Yeah.
that. I like that. One of your other hobbies I know is cooking. You seem like you really enjoy
Yeah,
cooking. You kind of like even really go out of your way to make
I
a
do.
perfect
I
meal.
do. Some people, they go grocery shopping at one store. I might go to 3 stores in one day just for that perfect ingredient. I love watching the Food Network. You get so many great ideas, and even if you can't, cook half the things, it's just so much fun to hear the way that the chefs and the cooks they talk about food. And you really do start to look at food differently, and it does inspire you. I enjoy just even like reading cookbooks and getting inspired, and sometimes putting my own twist on things. So while I enjoy cooking, and I think I'm a pretty decent cook, baking has completely eluded me.
Oh, really?
Um, because baking is more of a science. Like you have to have exact measurements. Like if you have too much baking soda or too much flour, that can throw off your whole, whatever it is, cake or muffins or what have you. But with cooking, you can adjust a little bit. Oh, okay, I can add a little bit more salt, or oh, okay, I can add a little bit more, paprika or what have you, But you don't really get a do-over in baking. If it goes in bad, it's coming out bad. So you just have to You just have to
Yeah.
deal with it.
Now, my wife and I were talking about this sort of thing because I don't really cook or bake or do anything like that. I mean, I make a mean piece
Uh-huh.
of toast, and I'm really good at working
Oh,
in the microwave. The
there's
Hungry
an
Man
art to
dinners.
toast.
Yeah, the Hungry Man. That's an art too. Doing like Hungry Man dinners, because you got to
Yeah.
take out like if it has a brownie, you got to take it out at a certain time, then put it back on,
Yeah.
turn things over.
Yeah. The
But
timing is everything. Yeah.
timing is everything, Bianca Sloane. That is true. And but I'm curious. I'm going to be getting into this kind of stuff too because Lisa loves to cook. So I
Yeah.
told her I want her to teach me. So I might have to like email you too. If maybe
Please.
get some
Yes.
tips or something like that.
Now, does she have something like a favorite dish that she makes for you?
Well, she makes really good chicken.
Mm.
Good chicken. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what she does to it. It's definitely it's actually better than the Hungry Man chicken. I know that's hard to believe
I
because
mean,
you can get
that's
the honey bourbon from Hungry Man. You can get like the other
there's
one
so
where
much variety.
there's a lot of variety. There's a lot of
Yeah.
variety. Food Line, it's on aisle 7 in case you ever go to the Food Line, right? But
Let me
yeah,
write
her
that
chicken.
down.
Yeah, check it out. But yeah, she makes good chicken and vegetables. I don't really normally like vegetables. I mean, if
Uh-huh.
we go somewhere, even at McDonald's, I'm like, no, no, no vegetables on there. Nothing
Yeah.
healthy. But she's
No green.
I don't want to say training me, but I'm opening up my mind to like vegetables and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
Um, yeah, so like I said, we might need to talk to you further about that. And one thing I wanted to talk to you about further is that I love your website. I was
thank
checking it
you.
out. You're very welcome. I mean, of course, you've got your information about your books on there, and where other places that you can be found. But I love your About Me section because it's so much cooler than most people's About Me because you of course talk about how you're an author and all
Right.
of that, but then you answer like these cool questions like your earliest book memory, which is do you remember what you have
Yeah,
there?
hiding in the
Yeah.
closet, reading Nancy Drew and Trixie Belden. Yeah, and I thought I was being so slick, and my dad's like, "Yeah, we knew what you were doing."
Now,
That's
I'm not familiar with Trixie Belden. Is that similar to Nancy Drew, or is that something different?
Oh, yeah. So where Nancy Drew was this kind of sophisticated, in a sense. Trixie Belden was just like this wild child. She had this crazy strawberry blonde hair and very impetuous. Her best friend was Honey Wheeler, and Honey lived in the mansion, up the road. And Trixie's family, they were much more kind of middle class, but Honey and Trixie were always getting into these scrapes and, solving mysteries and,
That sounds
you
like
know,
fun.
Oh, it was great. Unfortunately, I think that the books are out of print now.
Oh, okay.
It just wasn't one of those series for whatever reason. It didn't survive. The way like Nancy Drew has.
Right, boy, those Nancy
But
Drew books have really stuck around, haven't they? Same with the Hardy
yeah,
Boys. That was my
yeah,
thing, the Hardy Boys.
yes, I remember you wrote a story. You and the Buddy and the Hot Hardy Boys.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Wow. Good memory, Bianca. Wow. Yeah. And
sometimes.
and I see that one of your favorite books as a child is still something that you love. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret by Judy Blume.
Yes, yes. I actually there is a book festival here in Chicago called Printers Row Lit Fest, and Judy Blume, she did a presentation or talk or what have you at a couple years ago, and I mean, I got a chance to have her sign my book, and I just was so tongue-tied because I was so excited to meet
Oh,
her because
wow.
I had loved, her books for, so many years, and, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret is one of those that, I think it should be required reading for all girls kind of coming of age because it deals with so many of the changes that you go through and
Hmm.
the fears, those kinds of things, and just a terrific book.
Right.
Terrific book.
I remember so many of my female classmates having copies of that book. I remember seeing it like for years in schools. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. That's great. And I
Well,
love
and
this.
it's
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, I was just going to say it's funny about schools is that she is actually because some of her books are like a little risque,
Hmm.
um, and she's one of those authors that's always on like the banned books list.
Yeah, I forgot that. That's right. That's right.
Hmm. Yeah, censorship and all that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It never seems to stop. It's nuts. And I love
Right.
this. Your favorite book as a supposed adult.
That's the rumor. I'm supposedly an adult, they tell me.
And I love that you say it would be like trying to choose a favorite kid if you had any. It is hard to pick a favorite, but what are some of your contenders there?
Well, I read Catcher in the Rye in high school, and I feel I was pretty fortunate because I actually got to read Catcher in the Rye in my high school. That's
Mhm.
another one that was a banned
Yeah.
book in so many high schools, but it was actually part of my curriculum
Oh,
in
okay.
high
Wow.
school.
That is
Yeah.
unique.
Yeah, so I didn't realize that until I got older, so as I said, I feel, kind of lucky, you know, that
Hmm.
I had that opportunity. But I love Catcher in the Rye. Um, I would say a more recent favorite is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn.
Oh, I've heard so
Um,
many people rave about that. I have yet to read that.
oh, yeah, skip the movie. The movie's okay,
Hmm.
but the problem with the movie is that it's too much like the book because typically a complaint of when a movie, a book becomes a movie. Oh, it was too different from the book, but in this case, that
Right.
might have been a good thing. But the book is fantastic,
Oh, great,
absolutely.
great.
Yeah, and I would say another recent favorite is The Husband's Secret by Leanne Moriarty,
Oh, okay. I've
which
heard
is
of that
just
one.
fantastic. Yeah, loved it.
Oh,
Loved
great,
it.
great.
So.
And some of your writing heroes, Joy Fielding, Anita Shreve, Anne Hood. They're
Yeah,
all pretty good. I might have them on the show. I
yeah.
really don't know much about that.
Anita Shreve, she's a very beautiful writer, very lyrical, very poetic, and Anne Hood. She's not someone that's really all that well known, but she's one of those writers who kind of gets to the truth, if you will, of the human condition in her books, and so I really enjoy her work as well.
Oh,
So
great, great. I
yeah,
was looking here at the best piece of writing advice that you ever got, and it says write what you like to read. I think that is fantastic advice.
yeah.
Fantastic advice.
I mean, I could never write like a science fiction
Hmm.
book or a western. Um, I admire, particularly with science fiction, I admire people that can do that because I wouldn't even know where to start with something
Hmm.
like that. And I've always read and enjoyed the puzzle of thrillers and mysteries and suspense, and so it was just I had really no choice but to write stories like that because those are the kinds of stories that I love to read.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. I've tried my hand at, well, like a lot of people when they start out writing, you try your hand at, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, different
Hmm.
genres. But my favorite has
Right.
always been mystery and suspense, and
Yeah.
that's what I've decided to have as my first published book, and I'm really enjoying that. And I think I think it is important to write, the kinds of things you really like to read, because I know some people, some friends of mine even, who have tried to write what they feel is popular and is going to be like the
Yeah.
best sell, even though they don't necessarily read it. Like one of my buddies, he's a big sci-fi fan, but he knows
Hmm.
that romance is probably like the biggest seller out there. So he's tried to write a romance, and
Yeah.
yeah, and he ended up stopping because he knows that's really not his thing. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think that lack of knowledge and that lack of passion, quite honestly, I think it comes through. You know,
Hmm. Yeah,
and it's
definitely.
interesting you say that because there's someone that I know also kind of trying their hand at romance, but read romance novels. You
Right.
writing a romance novel is like me trying to write a cozy mystery. I mean, there's just no
Hmm.
like rhyme or reason to it. So yeah, I think it is important because also too you have to spend so much time with that particular book, like that manuscript, that you don't want to be reading something that you just don't really have any feeling for. So
Right, exactly, exactly. I've noticed we have a couple live viewers that are watching. Folks who are watching live, thank you so much. My buddy David Anson, he says hello, one and all. And
right.
Quotidian Light, she's here as well. I want to bring up her comment on the screen. She says here, my daughter, is that shit coming up backwards? My daughter and I. Can you see? Is it coming up clearly?
Yeah, that we are you there, God? It's Me, Margaret, when she was in the fourth
Yeah.
grade. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
when she was in fourth grade, yeah, it was one of my favorite parenting memories for sure. Oh, that is
Yeah,
fantastic.
that's
That's great.
wonderful. Yay.
Yay. Hey, getting back to your books now, we mentioned how
Yeah.
Every Breath You Take is your most recent release, and
Uh-huh.
there's something special going on with that now, isn't there, Bianca?
A little bit, yes. Actually, tomorrow, so that would be Wednesday, March 18th, the book is going to be free on Amazon, and it'll be free both Wednesday and Thursday. So,
That's fantastic.
great opportunity for anyone who's maybe a little curious about what this dark side of love thing is, or, um, you know, and they like free books, so this is just an opportunity to to check it out. It's really something. It took me a long time to write it, and I gave up. I many times said this book is stupid. I'm not gonna do it. But you have to hang in there, and that is
Yeah.
so much a part of like the writing process is that you really do just have to power through.
Yeah, and I think sometimes when it's the most rewarding is it are those stories that where you end up hating it at points or you think it's dumb and you just keep pushing through. That's great.
Exactly.
So like we said, tomorrow, you know,
Yep.
the 18th, and then I'm sorry, the 19th as well.
Yep. So 2 days in a row on Amazon.com, Every Breath You Take will be free.
And what I'm
So,
going to do, folks, if you're watching this, later on, there's going to be a link down at the bottom. I always forget what side it's on, but it's down. You're smart, viewers. You'll figure it out. There'll
down
be a
there.
link down there to go to the Amazon page, so you don't even have to think about it. Just click on the link there in the show notes and check out Bianca Sloane's book. And while you're there at Amazon, check out her other books as well. Like we said, the new
Yes.
one's Every Breath You Take, and then we got Killing Me Softly and Sweet Little Lies.
Yep. Yep.
Spread the word. Spread the word about
Spread
the free
the
book.
word. Yes.
That's right.
Exactly. So.
Bianca, I thank you so much for being on the show again.
Thank you for having me. It's always a blast to come and hang out with you, and I'm glad that I was able to get in under the wire. I understand you're going to be doing some intensive work on your own
That's
book,
right.
so
Yeah, that's right. As a matter of fact, I thought I might as well mention it for those who tune in weekly. This is going to be the last show for a while, maybe like about 2 months. I'm going to go on hiatus. I mean, other shows do that, right? I mean, I can do that.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to be
Absolutely.
working on getting my first novel ready for publication, and that'll be coming out either late spring or early summer. So I'm going to be focusing on that. But do consider, if you're new to the show, subscribing to the channel, because you'll get a notification when I come back. And plus, there's 48 other interviews before this, including another one with Bianca, and she was awesome both times. So look for that one too. And folks,
Well,
definitely check out Every Breath You Take.
thank you.
And her other books. So you're very
And
welcome.
we are excited to see your name on Amazon.com here very shortly.
Oh,
So.
thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. And Bianca, thank you again.
Thank you, buddy, for having me. It was a lot of fun.
My pleasure. All right, everyone, take care. I'll see you real soon. Bye.